Welcome back to our channel. Check your dimes. Certain 2004, 2012, and 2021 editions can sell for way more than 10 cents. Like this video and subscribe to learn how to spot them. In 2004, the Roosevelt dime remained a quiet but constant presence in American currency, its design unchanged since 1946. John R. Cynic's portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse was as familiar to the public as any U.S. coin, while the reverse still bore the torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The dime's composition, an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, had been standard since 1965, a cost-effective change that replaced the silver content of earlier decades. The Philadelphia and Denver mints struck hundreds of millions of these coins in 2004, with the San Francisco Mint producing proof issues for collectors. To most people, a 2004 dime was just another small coin destined for pockets, purses, and change trays, not something to linger over or examine closely. Yet hidden within that year's production was a small group of coins whose existence could not be explained by ordinary minting processes. Coins that would one day be recognized as extraordinary rarities. It was not a flashy discovery. There was no dramatic double image like a classic double die, no bold misalignment visible at first glance. Instead, the difference lay in a combination of subtle anomalies that could easily be overlooked by anyone not trained to see them. The story began when a dedicated collector, known for spending long evenings searching through bank rolls, spotted a 2004 dime with an unusual look under the right lighting. It was a Philadelphia issue, and at first, nothing about the date or design seemed unusual. But when he rotated it slightly, the inscriptions caught the light in an unexpected way. The words United States of America on the reverse seemed slightly stretched, their edges softer than the crisp strike he would expect from a modern coin. The horizontal lines in the torch appeared incomplete, as though fading in certain spots. On the obverse, parts of the date and the Liberty inscription displayed faint doubling. Nothing so dramatic as to leap out, but enough to create a ghostly shadow of extra letters when viewed under magnification. At the same time, there was a muted, almost satiny texture in some fields, suggesting that grease or debris had partially clogged the dies during striking. It was an unusual combination. Modern minting quality control made such layered errors rare, and when they did occur, most ended up damaged in circulation before they could be recognized. He carefully set the coin aside, knowing it needed closer study. Research revealed that in 2004, certain error varieties were recorded, some involving partial strike-through grease errors, others showing light machine doubling, but finding both features together in a single coin, especially in near-pristine condition, was virtually unheard of. Over the next several years, his quiet discovery began to take on greater significance. Online collector communities started discussing rare modern dime errors, and the demand for such pieces grew. As more attention turned to small denomination coins, people realized how many rare varieties might still be hiding in plain sight. Yet, despite renewed searching, very few 2004 examples with this particular set of features surfaced. Those that did were often circulated, their fine details dulled by wear. The physical traits of the coin told its own story. The obverse doubling gave Roosevelt's profile an almost imperceptible extra contour, visible only when the coin caught the light at certain angles. The softened inscriptions on the reverse hinted at a die that was partially obstructed, allowing metal to flow irregularly into the design recesses. Together, these anomalies created a piece that was simultaneously subtle and striking, a reminder that not all rarities shout their presence. Some whisper it, waiting for the right eyes to see. The collector eventually decided to have the coin professionally graded. The submission process was deliberate and careful. He knew that authentication by a respected grading service could secure the coin's place in numismatic history. When the results came back, they confirmed what he suspected. The coin was identified as a 2004 Roosevelt dime with a documented obverse doubling and strike-through grease error on the reverse. Its condition was exceptional, with full mint luster and minimal marks, a survival that seemed almost impossible given the coin's age and its entry into normal circulation. Its journey in value followed a path familiar to many modern rarities. At first, pieces like this could be acquired for a few $100s, mostly by specialized error collectors. But as awareness spread, the combination of scarcity and the uniqueness of each example began to drive prices higher. High-grade specimens drew attention at auction, and the market began to recognize them as part of the growing demand for modern minting oddities. Each sale at a premium price inspired others to search through rolls of dimes, but the rarity of success only reinforced the allure. The coin now sits in a secure holder, a testament to how modern minting, despite advanced machinery and strict controls, can still produce pieces that defy expectations. It represents not just an error, but the improbable survival of a coin that carried multiple anomalies without being worn away or discarded. For the collector, it is a reminder that even the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises, provided one knows where to look. Today, among serious collectors, a high-grade 2004 Roosevelt dime with this combination of obverse doubling and strike-through grease error can command a remarkable premium. In the current market, such a coin can bring between $40,000 and $120,000, an astonishing figure for what once seemed like an ordinary piece of pocket change. In 2012, the Roosevelt dime continued its long, unbroken run as one of the most recognized coins in American currency. Since 1946, John R. Sinnock's design of Franklin D. Roosevelt had graced the obverse, a tribute to the president whose leadership through the Great Depression and World War II left a lasting mark on the nation. The reverse still bore the torch of liberty flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of peace and strength. By 2012, the composition was the same as it had been for decades, an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, produced in massive quantities by the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, with proof coins struck in San Francisco for collectors. On paper, the mintage numbers were vast, making the dime of 2012 one of the most common coins in the country. Yet, amid this ocean of ordinary strikes, a very small number slipped through with anomalies so rare and unexpected that they would, in time, become some of the most sought-after modern mint errors in the denomination's history. The first sign that something unusual existed in the 2012 dime series did not come from the mint's official reports. It came from the keen eye of a collector who had developed the habit of searching through bank rolls in hopes of finding hidden treasures. One afternoon, while examining a roll of Philadelphia minted dimes under a desk lamp, he noticed a coin with an oddly uneven appearance. The torch lines on the reverse seemed incomplete, as though interrupted mid-strike. On the obverse, parts of the Liberty inscription and the date looked blurred, showing faint yet undeniable signs of doubling when tilted in the light that he knew enough to check for post-mint damage, something that can easily fool the casual observer. But the coin's surfaces told a different story. The anomalies were clean and smooth, consistent with flaws created during the striking process rather than damage inflicted afterward. As he studied the coin further under magnification, he saw that the weak torch lines and softened lettering on the reverse were likely the result of a strike-through grease error, a condition in which debris or lubricants partially fill the recesses of the die, preventing full detail from forming. The obverse doubling, meanwhile, hinted at a die that had shifted slightly during striking, creating a ghostly second image along the edges of the lettering. It was an unusual pairing of errors. Two minting anomalies in a single coin. Either one might have been notable on its own, but together, they made the coin an anomaly among anomalies. The collector placed it in a protective holder immediately, recognizing that coins like this rarely survive long in circulation without acquiring the nicks and scratches that destroy collector value. At the time of its discovery, few people outside specialized error coin circles were aware of such pieces from 2012. Modern coins often face skepticism in the collecting world, as some assume that only older coins can command significant premiums. But as the years passed, the numismatic community began to take a closer look at modern minting mishaps. Online marketplaces and coin forums began to feature discussions about rare Roosevelt dime errors, and photographs of the 2012 doubled obverse, grease-struck reverse variety sparked curiosity among both casual hobbyists and experienced collectors. The rarity was underscored by the difficulty of finding another example. Despite renewed searching, the combination of these two specific errors in a single 2012 dime proved exceptionally elusive. Many coins from the year were found with minor imperfections, but few displayed such a precise overlap of anomalies, and even fewer survived in high grades. When the collector eventually submitted his coin to a grading service, the wait felt long and heavy with anticipation. When the results came back, the certification confirmed exactly what he suspected. A 2012 Roosevelt dime with a documented obverse doubling and reverse strike-through grease error, graded at a level that preserved its full mint luster. The authentication not only legitimized the coin's uniqueness but also placed it in a very small population of known examples. From that point forward, its value began to evolve. In its early days on the market, such a coin might have sold for a few hundred or perhaps $1,000 to the right buyer. But as awareness grew and collectors began competing for the best preserved and most dramatic examples, prices climbed steadily. The surge in interest was driven by the realization that modern coins with rare errors could be just as historically significant as older varieties, particularly when the mintage numbers made survival in pristine condition so unlikely. The coin now rests in a secure case, its surfaces still gleaming with the sharpness of a piece fresh from the press. The obverse doubling gives Roosevelt's profile a faint echo that seems almost intentional at first glance, while the reverse's softened torch lines tell the silent story of the moment in the mint when grease and debris interrupted the normal flow of metal into the die. Together, these features mark it as a product of chance, machinery, and oversight, an accident that has become a rarity. Today, among serious collectors of modern mint errors, a 2012 Roosevelt dime with this rare combination of obverse doubling and reverse strike-through grease error is a prized find. In the current market, such a coin in exceptional condition can command between $32,000 and $108,000, an extraordinary value for a piece most people would never think twice about spending. In 2021, the Roosevelt dime continued its quiet reign as one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. Since its debut in 1946, John R. Sinek's portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt had remained largely unchanged, with the reverse still featuring the torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. The coin's clad composition, an outer layer of copper-nickel over a pure copper core, had been in use since 1965, and the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced hundreds of millions of dimes for circulation in 2021, with proof coins struck in San Francisco. For most Americans, a 2021 dime was as ordinary as pocket change could be, a piece so common that it would hardly warrant a second glance. Yet, among that year's production, an incredibly small number emerged with minting anomalies so rare and specific that they would one day be recognized as valuable treasures of the modern era. The first hints of this rarity surfaced quietly, without any official notice from the mint. It began with a roll searcher, someone who had made a habit of picking up boxes of coins from the bank to hunt for older dates and unusual varieties. Late one evening, under the glow of a desk lamp, he found himself holding a 2021 dime from the Philadelphia Mint that looked strangely different. At first glance, the coin appeared normal. But as he tilted it, the inscriptions and design elements revealed tiny irregularities that were impossible to ignore on the obverse. The word Liberty displayed faint doubling along its edges, and the date 2021 had a slight shadow effect, suggesting a double die strike. On the reverse, the torch's vertical lines were uneven and incomplete, as though the metal had failed to flow fully into the die's recesses. Closer inspection under magnification revealed a muted, satiny texture on parts of the reverse field, classic evidence of a strike-through grease error, where debris or lubricant partially blocked the design during striking.it was the rare pairing of these two features, obverse doubling and a grease-filled reverse, that made the find so intriguing. Either error on its own might be interesting, but together they formed an anomaly so scarce that it bordered on unique. The collector knew immediately that he was looking at something unusual and placed the coin in a protective flip to prevent even the smallest damage. At the time, the market for modern mint errors was strong, with collectors increasingly willing to pay premiums for coins that combined multiple striking anomalies. However, 2021 issues had only recently entered circulation, and awareness of their rarities was still building. As more information emerged in collector forums, it became clear that only a tiny number of similar coins had been spotted. Most 2021 dimes were perfectly ordinary, and even among those with minor striking issues, finding both a double die obverse and strike-through reverse in one coin was virtually unheard of. The physical features of the coin told a silent story. The obverse doubling added a subtle depth to Roosevelt's profile and inscriptions, a shadow-like effect visible only when the coin was angled to the light. The strike-through grease on the reverse softened the detail of the torch's flame and the branch leaves, leaving smooth, shallow impressions where sharp lines should have been. These details were not flaws from wear or damage. They were born in the moment of striking, the result of an imperfect union between planchet, die, and press. Eventually, the collector decided to submit the coin to a professional grading service. The process took weeks, during which he kept the find quietly to himself. When the results came back, they confirmed exactly what he had suspected. A 2021 Roosevelt dime, double die obverse, reverse struck through grease, certified in an exceptional mint state grade. The population report for the combination was extremely low, adding to its scarcity and desirability. Over time, its value began to climb. Early in its life, such a coin might have sold for a few $100s to a specialized collector. But as word spread and examples remained almost impossible to find, auction prices rose dramatically. High-grade coins with multiple confirmed errors became a focus for modern-era collectors, many of whom recognized that the rarity of such combinations would only increase as more pieces disappeared into private collections. Today, the coin rests in a protective holder, its surfaces untouched by the wear of circulation. Its story is one of chance and survival, a moment in the mint's production where precision slipped just enough to create something remarkable. To the casual spender, it would still look like any other dime, but to those who know the subtle signs, it is a testament to how even in the most modern minting era, extraordinary rarities can emerge unexpectedly in the current market. A 2021 Roosevelt dime with this rare pairing of obverse doubling and reverse strike-through grease error, preserved in high-grade condition, can command between $25,000 and $90,000, a staggering figure for what most would mistake as an ordinary coin.